Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here at the beautiful Aztec Shawnee Theater in the heart of downtown Shawnee. I hope that you enjoyed that hometown brew by Service Brewery. Courtney and her family, who just added baby Easton on Friday, joined our community and immediately submerged themselves in all things Shawnee and formed multiple partnerships with other small businesses. And what about the hometown music played for us tonight by the Daily Special? Wasn't that great? It's hard for me to believe this is my 8th State of the City as Mayor of Shawnee. I can truly tell you I have poured my heart and soul into serving this community, and I have enjoyed almost every minute of it. As you know, we have a theme every year, and the theme this year is Hometown with Heart, as you can see on the screen, and I'm excited to tell you how our community really drove this design. But first, I want to thank the Shawnee Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. Your staff is always flexible when we get new ideas of how to present the state of the city, and I think we're all excited to be seated here inside the Aztec Shawnee Theater, beautifully restored with so much love, thanks to both the Calkins and Young families. We are extremely grateful for our strong partnership with the Chamber and all of our local businesses. These relationships are the heartbeat of our community. Let's pause to recognize Chamber President and CEO Ann Smith Tate and her incredible staff. Thank you so much. And I also have to thank Julie Brightup, who keeps all the plates spinning in the air to get this event organized every year. And this year we had a lot of help too from Colin and Celia, but Julie is the energy behind all of this. So, Hometown with Heart is our theme for tonight. It was developed as part of the city's branding process, but the City Council is still working on it. So keep your giveaways, as they will someday be collector's items. I am proud of the thorough and thoughtful steps that we took while developing this, and I couldn't wait to show it off to all of you. Our staff partnered with Crux KC, many of them are also Shawnee residents, to be out at dozens of events talking to our community members about what they think makes Shawnee shine. Over 700 people took the survey to give us their feedback. We found the new input is consistent with the feedback we received during previous public engagements, like Imagine Shawnee, Achieve Shawnee, and numerous other initiatives in our daily conversations with thousands of our residents and businesses. We hosted several small group meetups with staff, the council, the chamber, local business leaders, and organizations. Crux KC was amazing to work with, put our residents and businesses first, and worked magic. Their professionalism is unmatched. We dedicated a lot of time into listening to what you think. And once we had that, our team of Shawnee residents and staff that works every day with our citizens and businesses used all that feedback to drive the design. You'll notice this design has a familiar feeling to our official seal, almost like an evolution of our seal, while staying true to our roots. The Hometown with Heart speaks to everything we all love about Shawnee, this unique city in the heartland. It speaks to the number one thing our residents and businesses say they love about Shawnee, that friendly hometown feeling. It speaks to the heart of our community that we see daily with our volunteers, church-city partnership, businesses, city staff, animal rescues, and neighbors taking care of one another. No other community has what we have in Shawnee. You will notice the word Shawnee and how the font makes you feel the friendly smile in our town. You'll notice the sun is the same as our seal, and the warm colors can feel like fun in the sun or like a blanket wrapped around you on a cold day. You'll notice the hills and the views that so many cherish about our green spaces, parks, and trails, or while driving Shawnee Mission Parkway or Johnson Drive. Looking at it historically as the land that was once a truck farming town, or as one of our firefighters said, the view from the Lind Bridge looking towards our westward growth and expansion. Each element intentional. It was truly a magical experience to watch this develop and mean something different to everyone from various backgrounds and viewpoints, while at the same time perfecting that feeling of Shawnee to those of us that are stitched in the fabric of our quilted community. When people know who you are before they meet you and when they understand your friendly culture, that is effective branding versus just a familiar logo. And you can't miss the S that the design created entirely by accident. I believe with all my heart that when anyone looking to visit or move to Shawnee looks at this, they can feel what makes Shawnee unique from other cities and would want their family or business to be part of our community that we all love so much. One of our city manager candidates even stated his 22-year-old nephew visited Shawnee and was surprised by our friendly neighborhood feeling. So what does it mean? I can tell you what I think, but more importantly, we want to know what Hometown with Heart means to you.
I feel so lucky to call Shawnee my home. I mean, the fact that we have so many amenities here, beautiful parks. My husband and I love to go for walks at Shawnee Mission Park. My kids riding their bikes on the trails here. The school district, I mean, the teachers here were phenomenal.
It just has this like hometown, small town feel. That's kind of where I grew up in rural Kansas. But to me, it has that feel. But this, Shawnee has the addition of being so close to everything. Not only is there so much to do in Shawnee, but it has access to downtown. All of the big city amenities that you would want with a small town feel.
Personally, it means everything to me. This community is where I grew up. This is where I live. This is where my family lives, and my kids go to school here. It's important. It's huge. Professionally, it's very important because the community is why we're here. I try and tell a lot of our new recruits that when you go out to the community and help them, when folks call 911 and need our service, treat them like you would one of your family members, and treat them like you would one of your friends, because most likely they are.
At the end of the day, what Shawnee is a collective of really amazing people that care about where they're from and where they're going. I've been in my role working to support the business community for over 5 years and have grown really to just love this community, love really the people that make up the community, and the passion that they have for the history and the desire to move things forward.
I feel like it's a very welcoming community. I mean, everybody pretty much knows everybody, but they're so supportive. I just think everybody's like that. All the businesses, I think we all help each other.
There's no shortage of volunteers in Shawnee, by far. I always like to think that that's universal, that's just good, the humanity of it. I don't think it's as good as it is here. I really don't. I'd like to think it is, but people would. They just want to volunteer. They want to be a part of something. They want to help out.
Yeah, I guess I really can't say enough good about being here in Shawnee. And just, I tell people all the time how great the people are here and how welcoming they are. And I've lived in Kansas City my whole life, but I feel like Shawnee is kind of a hidden gem.
And to paraphrase another Shawnee resident, Shawnee has a lovely small town feeling where everyone knows everyone and are so kind to one another. Not perfect, but pretty wonderful. I cherish my town. According to Webster, hometown has different meanings to different people. It is a word that is often attributive. It can mean the city or town in which one was born or grew up. It can mean the place of one's principal resident, or it can be that local feeling of town celebrations and a family-friendly location. Culturally, Shawnee wants everyone to feel at home. I lost count during the recent Super Bowl how many times heart was mentioned when referring to our Chiefs team in the Heartland and the heart of the people in the Midwest. And having heart is not a trend in Shawnee, it is who most of us are. We were able to celebrate a huge and rare achievement in the city of Shawnee in 2022. We are proud to say that 4 of our city departments have officially achieved accreditation, deeming Shawnee a community of excellence. This was topped off with the This was topped off with the Parks and Recreation Department earning accreditation last September. In fact, 3 of the 4 departments have already been re-accredited over the past few years. This, along with the Shawnee Chamber of Commerce being an accredited 5-star chamber, makes Shawnee one of the elite few cities across the United States to accomplish this designation. Seriously. Last time we checked, only 3 cities in the United States have accomplished this. So, you might be asking yourself, why is this important? Well, these accreditations are more than just titles. They reflect the combined efforts of the community and staff from all across the city that came together to make this happen. Being a community of excellence serves as a badge of honor and a source of pride for our city. It reassures our residents that we are all working to make Shawnee the best place to be. We are always striving to make sure Shawnee's heart shines through. It has always been a measuring stick for all of our decisions. You will often hear me say it's the little things that make a community. Well, sometimes it's the big things too, like being a community of excellence. I want you all to meet some of the employees who helped make these accreditations possible so you can see who is working hard in our community every single day.
We are so excited that we are a community of excellence. It's something that we've been working towards for over 10 years. Achieving accreditations in all 4 of our major departments, Public Works, Parks and Rec, Police, and Fire. Being a community of excellence is important to anybody because it's our easiest way to show our community that we're doing everything to the best standards, the highest standards. Those have been validated by 3rd parties, 4th parties, 5th parties. We're doing everything to the highest standards and levels, and it's been validated time and time again.
We're always looking at what we're doing and how we can make it better. So internally, within the fire department, we're looking to make sure that we're taking care of each other and taking care of the membership and making sure that we're providing them with the right resources, right training opportunities, mental and physical wellness and things like that. And always surveying and getting feedback and finding out what we can do to make work better.
I think it opens the line of communication between the department and the community. Also, it's an important asset for us as a department because it decreases our liability exposure by having some of those effective policies. And then as a community, it shows that we have a high integrity, not just the officers, but the department as a whole.
Having the proper guidelines or policies and procedures, it helps us to better equally and effectively serve the public for which we provide the work that we do. It also makes it easier for us to train new employees, and it helps us to kind of manage our operations on a regular basis. If we're all pulling in the same direction, it lightens the load.
We're all working towards that same goal of being the best of the best and meeting that gold star standard, not just for us as an organization, but for each individual department to be hitting all those marks that other organizations across the country are hitting.
Our amazing Parks and Recreation Department earned its accreditation this past September, and that achievement was the crowning jewel for our Community of Excellence distinction. When you talk about having a hometown with heart, it is easy to understand when you spend time with our Parks and Rec employees. The love they put into their job is evident everywhere in our community. You can see it in our beautiful parks when you take your family to play, go for a walk, or on the trails, or gather at a shelter for a birthday party. It is in the carefully manicured sports field so your children can safely spend hours practicing soccer, baseball, softball, and other activities. It's our aquatic centers filled with splashing and laughter. It's the landscaping that you can also see in the design throughout our community that gives Shawnee that extra special touch that makes us proud of our hometown. And the events, all the wonderful events every year that bring our community together. Our staff is constantly striving to provide our community with the best possible ways to engage, explore, and connect. They recently secured $90,000 National Recreation and Park Association Wellness Hub grant to fund an initiative we're calling Healthier Because We Live Here. Be on the lookout for this because our Parks and Rec staff is working hard to partner with local businesses and organizations to provide new opportunities for you and your family to focus on your health. This was quite an accomplishment and one that we are excited to roll out this year. We're also investing a lot of time and commitment into making sure our parks and trails and facilities are welcoming to everyone, regardless of their abilities. We are doing a citywide audit and developing a plan to pinpoint where we can improve when it comes to complying with the American with Disabilities Act. We were excited to add a new part-time position dedicated to adaptive recreational programming that has been very well received in our cherished special needs community. You've also probably noticed some much-needed upgrades at some of our parks, including new restrooms at both Gum Springs and Swarner Parks. And I am so excited the 13-foot sculpture of Wild Bill Hickok that was started by Charles Goslin and finished by his recommendation of Moretta Kennedy is now installed at Trail Scout Park. And what makes this extra exciting for me? For those that do not know, the beautiful home of the wagon master, Dick Williams, that was built by the Garrett brothers, originally stood where Walgreens is now. It had been painstakingly taken down, stone by stone, when Van's Food Center was built at that site, and each stone was individually numbered with future plans to rebuild it at another location. These stones were in an undisclosed location in Shawnee Mission Park, but over the years had begun to disappear. I had asked our then Parks Director, Neil Holman, if we could use what was left of the stones for the base of the sculpture. And to my absolute delight, he made it happen. So we are honoring more than just Wild Bill Hickok, our original constable at Trail Scout Park. We're also honoring the home of the wagon master that was built by the Garrett brothers, Dick Williams, who is seen leading the trail at Pioneer Crossings Park. So if you've kept up, we've come full circle. Shawneetown 1929 is a big part of that master plan, and more exciting changes are coming this year as it'll be getting some much-needed water system improvements along with a new chapel. I am personally so excited to add this piece to the Shawneetown 1929 grounds to give our community another place to gather as they make lifelong memories at weddings and other events. The funding was approved unanimously in the budget, mostly from the Special Parks and Recreation Alcohol Fund and the rest from the Parks and Pipes Fund. The irony is not lost on me that the sin tax from consuming alcohol is paying for our chapel. It is estimated to pay for itself through rental revenue in approximately 20 years. The chapel will feature historic stained glass and pews from Shawnee and will seat dozens of visitors. I am elated that it has received nothing but positive comments from our community, and I quote, "Faith, family, country, Shawnee is doing something right." It's an example. It's an example of another way we are constantly looking ways to infuse heart into our hometown. Shawneetown 1929 had a record year in 2022. The biggest year ever as a museum, with a whopping attendance of more than 166,000 visitors. Thousands of school-age kids explored the grounds while getting unique hands-on learning life experience of the 1920s. It was my own third grade field trip to Old Shawneetown that ignited my passion for Shawnee history. Thousands more people relaxed during a Jamming on the Green performance, picked up that perfect gift at the Friends of Shawneetown craft fair, or enjoyed a brew during the popular History on Tap series, and not to forget the car show as well. Shawneetown 1929 was created by residents who cared about preserving our history and something that sets our hometown apart, and I am confident we will continue to invest time and resources into our landmark. As I talked about during last year's State of the City, our longtime Parks and Recreation Director, Neil Holman, retired after serving Shawnee for 30 years. We are so fortunate that Deputy Parks and Rec Director Tanya LeCure has been promoted to Director and is showing incredible heart and leadership in her new role. Let's give her a round of applause. Our community development department lays the foundation for the heart of all of Shawnee. Our community development employees are often the first impression of the city as people come with questions and plans to open, expand, or move new business to Shawnee. I consistently hear that we are the easiest and friendliest city to do business with. And let me tell you, they have been busy. Here are just a few of the stats. Staff coordinated new construction valued at nearly $190 million while also issuing more than 1,400 building permits. Our employees spent hours conducting more than 6,100 building inspections. We helped give out 31 Shawnee Economic Recovery Assistance grants that totaled more than $143,000 and provided a big boost to our local business owners. The Kansas Neighborhood Revitalization Act added up to nearly $245,000 in property tax rebates. They have also made some tweaks and changes to the downtown and Shawnee Mission Parkway gateway zoning guidelines that continue to make sure we are driving the right development for these areas. And that is just a few of community development's highlights. I also want to take a moment to recognize our code enforcement officers who have an important and often difficult job in our community. They are friendly and work hard to build good relationships with our residents while helping make sure our neighborhoods are clean, maintained, and safe. Their patience and dedication is often overlooked when they are dealing with difficult situations, but it is noticed and valued, and we appreciate their work so much. Community development helped pave the way for making this possible, the beautifully restored Aztec Theater. We are so thankful that Chris and Jeff Calkins and Bruce Young and their families invested so much time, money, and a lot of heart into bringing our beloved Aztec back to life. And I am going to go off script here for a second because every one of you needs to take notice of these pleats on these walls. And I'm sure they'll give you a tour and point out a lot of details of the hand painting of the signs and things like that. Chris Calkins folded every single one of these pleats by himself, by hand. So I think that it's definitely worth something taking notice and appreciation of. And I think he said that the first half took him longer than the second half after his wife told him how to do it in a more efficient way. So. The Aztec was something so many residents wanted ever since it closed decades ago. It is now a centerpiece of our downtown. Seeing people stream in to catch a concert, worship service, an old movie, or another event brings feeling down here that just cannot be replaced. Another little piece of history trivia for you. The Aztec was originally owned by the city's 3rd mayor and is now playing host to me, the 23rd mayor, for tonight's State of the City. The Aztec is not the only change that has happened downtown over the past few years. This area is now bustling with breweries, cocktail bars, restaurants, boutiques, murals, pocket parks, flower and chocolate shops. You can truly spend a day exploring our downtown now. What I love seeing is how our new businesses come in and make it their own while also making sure to leave the important historical aspects in place. I am also excited to report that another one of my passion projects, in addition to the passion projects of the new branding, the chapel, and the fire stations, is the utility boxes in downtown that are now covered with historical pictures as part of our historical downtown walking tour that will hopefully lead to our entire city interactive historical driving tour. I'm excited to see all of these things finally coming to fruition and the excitement from the community about them. Let's take a look at how downtown has changed over the years.
Downtown Shawnee, a destination, a place where families have built businesses for decades, leaving long-standing legacies. They tell the stories of the past while welcoming new faces, making new memories, where history springs to life with a new twist. A nod to the past with our eyes on the future, a place where our community comes together with heart.
First of all, there's so many just like great businesses that have been here for so long. So that's amazing and has really it brought us into this space. My dad drove down the main street of Shawnee as we were kind of looking in different areas of Kansas City, and really just fell in love with the downtown. He saw this building was available and really saw the vision of what a McLean's here could be. Our McLean's in Overland Park also was in an old gas station, so we kind of had a vision for what we could do with an old garage or gas station. There was a lot of just history and like rich legacy here. And then as we also heard of all the new things that were coming into downtown and what the city of Shawnee was doing and what the chamber was doing to really try to continue to grow downtown, that made us even more excited.
I actually love it because, you know, one time Shawnee, I always said there was nothing past Old Shawnee Pizza once you got to us on Neiman Road. And so to be able to see the revitalization of the downtown area makes it even better and more traffic, and it gets people moving down here. After 9 o'clock on a Friday night, this was just a dead area. And to now see it, you know, the bars and the breweries and other restaurants coming in and everything, it's really exciting to see, you know, the explosion, I guess, would be of the downtown area.
Well, ever since we've opened, and actually before we even opened, once we signed on buying the building, buildings down here started to rent out, go up for lease. Breweries have come in, restaurants have come in. It's helped us. It's helped the businesses that were already here in downtown Shawnee, and that was the whole goal of the thing: get downtown Shawnee back up and running, make it a focal point, make it a place to come and enjoy, visit, walk around, check out the sites, and it's been great.
I think it's what the city needed. I think this was kind of like the instrument, the light to start this whole thing. Lots of these guys came in and started after us and finished before us because we were so slow. There was so much to do. We needed this, a draw. And so we're gonna stay here for maybe another 100 years. It's almost 100 years old. It's really interesting. So this thing should last.
From the day we purchased the theater, we had people come to us wanting to help, we had engineers come to us, we want to do your drawings, we want to take care of this for you. It was just, I knew there was a lot of people that wanted it. I just didn't realize how much of a community effort it was. I think we've brought something to the community, and then as we've opened, really see that outpouring of support, even though we opened during COVID.
During COVID, of course, everybody got closed, and all of the competitors that were competitors in Shawnee, that was gone. It was supporting each other, and everybody supported everybody. William Walker came and bought for me, Tom, Eunice, all of them from Bait Cities came and bought for me. We did that. We went back and forth, and it was all about community support and how everybody loved Shawnee. We would have customers literally that would come in here because they would get their food. People on Social Security coming in and giving me $100. Pay your bills, pay your employees, we need you to be here.
We wouldn't still be here without the support of Shawnee, you know? I mean, that's what keeps us in business, and we love Shawnee, and Shawnee's loved us, and so we couldn't be in a better place, I don't think. It's just really nice to be able to see that there's new blood being pumped into Shawnee and everything, so it's exciting to see there's a next stage in Shawnee's history, I think, you know?
We love being a part of it. We feel honored that we got to be kind of one of the newer people who kind of like pushed the next round of new things coming into downtown Shawnee, and I think it's just gonna get better from here.
I've been talking a lot about people who care, and one place where you'll find a lot of heart is in our Public Works Department. Our engineers spend hours carefully laying out plans to make sure projects will improve things for our community while maintaining that hometown feel. Our stormwater staff is busy using a new camera to scan our underground pipes to make sure they're strong, while also quickly identifying when they're not so we can get them fixed fast. Our employees are using a new paving machine that means they can do more types of repairs than they were able to do in the past. They are constantly monitoring street conditions and coordinating paving so your drive around Shawnee can be smooth and safe. When that street light gets fixed, or that pesky pothole gets filled, or a new stretch of sidewalk gets put in, that is all thanks to Public Works. Let me run down some numbers for you. Crews milled and overlaid 54 lane miles. We replaced 40,000 feet of curb and 15,000 feet of sidewalks. We inspected 85,000 feet of stormwater pipe and installed or repaired nearly 33,000 feet. You can check out our new snow removal management system that includes a live map for people to track where our plows have been and how recently at cityofshawnee.org/snow. Public Works is behind big changes you've seen in Shawnee, including the completion of Monticello Road project that has traffic moving easier from Shawnee Mission Parkway to just north of 83rd Street. That was a massive undertaking, along with the 75th Street project that upgraded the stretch between Schweitzer and Quivira. Those are just a couple of the several other projects you see here that our Public Works staff devoted hours to. They're doing the little things and the big things that make a community great. They are doing the things that make Hometown with Heart ring true. As I mentioned earlier, big things are happening at the Shawnee Fire Department. The fire station project is underway right now at both the John B. Glazer Fire Headquarters on Quivira and Station 73 on Hedge Lane Terrace. We held an official groundbreaking back in December, and the $26 million project will provide much-needed upgrades to our facilities for our firefighters. We're excited to follow along with the progress and then check out the final reveal that'll be coming in 2024. The fire department is celebrating its reaccreditation that they earned this past August. They continue to stay on the forefront of the fire industry. Safety for our community and for our firefighters is always the top priority. We invested in updating and alerting systems at Fire Station 72 and 74 to protect and improve the health and wellness of the men and women who spend their days and nights in those stations. More than a dozen firefighters earned promotions to driver-operator in January. This is an example of how our staff is working to provide opportunities for growth within all the departments so that we can make sure Shawnee is a place people want to come and stay for their careers. While this is not a fond memory of all we accomplished in 2022, I do want to say how thankful I am for our firefighters. In July, it was a scary situation when 4 of our firefighters were hurt in a house when the stairs collapsed. The outpouring of support was swift from our neighboring fire departments and our community as a whole. Again, there's that heart I keep talking about. We're beyond grateful that all of our firefighters recovered. And things have changed because of that situation. Our fire department worked with our community development staff to identify places where we can improve when it comes to construction. Adding just a ½ inch of sheetrock underneath stairs can provide an extra 20 minutes of protection in a fire. Staff recommended making this change, so moving forward, homes in Shawnee will be safer. It is this kind of cooperation and analysis that shows how much we focus on keeping our community safe. You want to talk about heart? Your Shawnee Police Department is laser focused on our safety as they serve the community with purpose and care. Officers are now outfitted with new body and car cameras. The technology helps officers on scene and provides evidence for reports, investigations, and more. Police responded to a total of 24,200 citizen-initiated calls for service in 2022. Officers conducted more than 15,000 officer-initiated situations for things like traffic stops or checking on a suspicious person. Our dispatchers are the heart and soul of our police department, dealing directly with people as they call in, often in times of crisis. They answered more than 68,000 calls last year, including both 911 calls and administrative calls to dispatch. Our mental health co-responders responded to 165 scenes and conducted 734 mental health follow-ups. Officers responded to 848 mental health calls for service. The mental health co-responders have become a vital part of our police department and are providing our community with yet another layer of help, care, and support, and we are so thankful for their work. When the weather warms up this year, you'll be seeing more officers on electric bikes that were purchased with a federal JAG grant. This allows officers to get to areas they can't if they're in a regular patrol vehicle, and it also adds another layer of security in different situations. It's safe to say the police department's Community Outreach, Relations, and Engagement Unit, also known as CORE, has been busy. They spent time at 130 events throughout the community last year, including National Night Out, Faith in Blue, leading the Citizens Police Academy, giving station tours, helping people in need through Giving the Basics, having a little fun at Trunk or Treats, and Shop with a Cop at Christmas. Our CORE unit also helps coordinate the Heart of Shawnee's Secret Santa's generous donation of $10,000. In December, officers passed out $100 bills to people in Shawnee to give them a boost during the holiday season. Secret Santa has made such an impact on our community for years now, and we are forever grateful for the generosity and opportunity to do some good right here in Shawnee. Have I mentioned the city has heart? You can count on your police department to be there. Whether you see them or not, they're doing things like security sweeps before, during, and after community events, standing by for crowd control situations, and patrolling the streets and neighborhoods. They are making the decision to put your safety as a priority every single day they put on that uniform and head to work. They care, they have heart. That passion for the job is something that weaves through every inch of our city. Our Human Resources Department completed a compensation study to ensure employee salaries are on par and competitive with neighboring cities. We are proud to say 12 employees were promoted internally, and we celebrated a total of 56 employees, boards, and commission members who have a combined total of 820 years of service. Our Human Resources team continues to rack up awards for the wellness program, Shape Up Shawnee, including being named Platinum Level Healthy KC Certified Workplace and Healthiest Employer from the Kansas City Business Journal. Our staff is fortunate to have such a solid HR staff backing them every step of the way. Our information technology team once again earned Digital Cities Award for a number of reasons, including providing extensive online services like GIS mapping. IT is an integral part of everything our staff does, no matter which department they are working for, from the tech in our police cars to the GIS mapping tools to ensuring staff can work from almost anywhere. Employees would not be able to do their jobs without the support of IT. The finance folks helped put together a budget that passed unanimously. They earned a number of awards as well, including the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting and the Distinguished Budget Award for the 17th year in a row. We have held a AAA bond rating since 2019. Think of it as a personal credit rating for the city. AAA is the highest a city can achieve and something only a handful of communities within the region have. This designation saves taxpayers thousands of dollars each year by securing lower interest rates on our debt. So the bond rating is something we are very proud of. Our finance team truly cares about making sure your taxpayer dollars are spent responsibly as they allocate funds to help build an even better community. If you have not spent time getting to know our city clerks, they are top-notch. The way they maintain such a high level of professionalism while answering countless phone calls, emails, and in-person questions is astounding. Our clerks also helped make our property tax rebate pilot program an amazing success. They processed 97 applications to help give back nearly $43,000 to our residents. It's a lot of work, but as we've been mentioning, our employees have a lot of heart, and they do things like this for the good of the community. Thank a clerk next time you see one. When we talk about the heartbeat of a community, you know our volunteer program will come up. Our hundreds of volunteers combined to provide a staggering 6,700 hours of work in 2022. And let me clarify, that's just the documented hours. Several of these people put their time in and they don't log it. These are folks that you see tending to our bluebird boxes, keeping their adopt-a-spot clean, serving on our boards and commissions, joining me in putting up and taking down the popular Flags for Freedom display, working closely with our police, fire, and court, clearing snow and doing all kinds of tasks to build our Neighbors Helping Neighbors program. I guarantee if you ask any of them why they volunteer, the answer is not for the fame or glory. It is because they like helping their hometown. Their heart is in it. They enjoy making Shawnee a place where we all belong and can help each other out. They certainly aren't in it for the money, but to put it in perspective, all of their free volunteer work would add up to more than $200,000 if you put a price to it. That is incredible. We've seen changes within our municipal court, including bringing the city attorney position in-house, and Jenny is incredible. Our legal team won a jury trial at district court in 2022 with the help of our police department. Court staff has continued the School Supplies for Fines program, collecting nearly $700 worth of school supplies for local kids while clearing more than $2,000 in fines and fees. Change is also happening in leadership as Nolan Sunderman resigned as city manager. I'm hoping the council's recent decision for the next leader for Shawnee will continue the path forward for our community with care, thought, and heart. I want to pause to thank interim city manager Doug Whitaker and deputy city manager Caitlin Gard for stepping in as soon as Nolan left to make sure the city didn't miss a beat. Unless you're in that role, it's hard to imagine the amount of work involved with keeping things steady as an organization undergoes quite a bit of change. If you ask staff, they'll tell you Doug and Caitlin did a phenomenal job, and I will second that. And speaking of heart, we had the best time with the Parade of Hearts as we had 5 placed throughout our community. Thousands of people on the KC scavenger hunt to find all these hearts visited Shawnee to take pictures with them. One of those, named All in It Together, has a permanent place in our city now. A Shawnee artist created it, and we love seeing the flood of people who come place their locks on it outside of City Hall. The hearts will return in 23 and 24. It's another example of our hometown, quite literally, with heart. The downtown heart stood as a centerpiece for many of our events, including our second successful season of Moonlight Markets. The city's community events continue to be a source of pride as families make memories at Old Shawnee Days, bring little ones out to watch fireworks at Parked, or wheel out the bikes for the annual Tour de Shawnee. As another example of how Hometown with Heart rings true in our community, our Hometown Hero program expanded, allowing our community to honor more local veterans and active service members whose names were displayed on banners up and down Neiman and Johnson Drive in the heart of our downtown. The Mayor's Christmas Tree Fund gave a big boost to both Shawnee Community Services and Mercy and Truth Medical Missions this year. You all helped us raise more than $19,000. We'd also like to thank both Wandering Vine and Service Brewery for partnering with us on fun events that helped raise even more money for these amazing organizations. I also had the distinct pleasure of honoring Jackson Fuser and Nick Lohman. These DeSoto High students jumped into action and performed CPR on a woman at the B&B Theater in October. Jackson and Nick continued CPR until crews arrived and took over. The woman survived, and we're honored to have these good Samaritans in our community. I know I've said it countless times, as it's another passion and overreaching goal of mine, is to have the majority of our residents attend both the Citizen Police and Citizen Fire Academies and learn these life-saving skills so we are safer as a community overall. The fire department will teach you these and other emergency preparedness skills for free. Some facts I always like to share when I'm speaking to kids at schools and scouts is that the city of Shawnee is the same size as Disney World. Yes, 42 square miles. And that your mayor's birthday, yes, yours truly, is the same as Mickey Mouse. I feel we have even more commonalities, as Walt Disney was a visionary and wanted a place that was clean, safe, fun, friendly environment for families, the same thing we wish for our city. His motto was dream, believe, dare, do, and he's known for saying, the more you are in a state of gratitude, the more you will attract things to be grateful for. Mickey Mouse was also the perfect way to show you how well the brand that was developed coordinates with our official city seal and our downtown brand. As you can probably tell, I could keep you all here for hours telling you all about the achievements, accomplishments, and things that make Shawnee so wonderful, but just know this. Every single city employee cares. They have chosen to work for Shawnee, and they care about the community. Most of them don't just work here. They love Shawnee so much that they live here too. They care about you as they do their jobs day in and day out. And as long as we have that, I know we're on the right path. Before I wrap up, I want to say a few words about the passing of Kevin Fern in December. This is my first State of the City without him. Kevin was the executive director of Visit Shawnee, a lifelong Shawnee resident with the exception of a few years, but we forgive him for that. And more importantly, my dear friend. Kevin put Shawnee on the tourism map and was our biggest cheerleader. He is responsible for our future Valley of Champions. He knew everything about Shawnee history, including the scandalous stories. And all those that you know him knew his ornery laugh. And that was the laugh he had when he added those scandalous questions to our trivia game. He not only knew everybody, he knew their siblings, their cousins, pretty much their entire family tree, and every house they lived in and job they ever held. His care for our history and our future and growth unmatched. You could see him at every event with his light blue balloons showing Shawnee's heart and smile. He was always the life of the party and one of the best friends I could have ever hoped for. If anyone represents the heart of Shawnee, it was Kevin. He was bestowed the honor of Citizen of the Year at the annual chamber dinner in January. And I promise generations to come will know his name and impact. Kevin was part of this hometown with heart image that we had created. And I'm proud to have worked with him on this final project and honor him with it today. Unfortunately, shortly after losing Kevin, Shawnee suffered another devastating blow that absolutely broke my heart. We lost world-renowned Charles Goslin, our most valued historian, gifted artist, and my dear friend. He was a gift to Shawnee and left us a phenomenal legacy. I remember the first time I met him at one of his art showings in Shawnee. Starstruck, I gushed at being his biggest fan because I loved his work and how he depicted Shawnee so beautifully with historical accuracy. He was so humble and had the most amazing smile and friendly yet mischievous twinkling eyes. Some of his most recognizable work includes Chief Blue Jacket, Pioneer Crossings, The Shepherd at Good Shepherd Church, his famous paintings of Shawnee, including the Old Shawnee Days Parade in downtown, and the mural of Shawnee history at City Hall. He was in his late 80s when he climbed up there on the scaffolding to clean and care for his beloved artistic storytelling of Shawnee's history. When I walked into the foyer and saw that he had secretly added me as the first female mayor in our history, I've never been so overwhelmed. Couldn't catch my breath, and the tears flowed uncontrollably at the honor that he had bestowed on me to be painted by my favorite artist in the history of my favorite place. I was beyond blessed to know him and receive a personal tour of his home, a place that was an amazing museum and studio, I was an eager student of his artifacts and stories and all of his beautiful images depicting Shawnee with heart. He gifted my daughter with a cherished opportunity to see and learn such things. As we played Shawnee trivia, he expressed absolutely glee at the questions about him. Charles tried to dissuade me that evening from washing our ice cream dishes, stating that I cannot do that because I am the mayor. To which I laughed and responded, "He is correct, and so it is my job to serve him." But I could not have been more honored than to wash the dishes of the Charles Goslin. Charles often talked about Shawnee having and being something special. He brought so much of his heart to our beloved community. So as we move forward through 2023, I hope we can all take note from how both Kevin and Charles lived their lives, which was with a lot of heart. They were friends to everyone they met. Each of us has a responsibility to make our community what we want it to be. We can do that by supporting each other, building each other up, rooting for the Shawnee team, and simply being kind. Let's agree to care for one another and our city, to lift each other up, and to be the reason Shawnee is forever everyone's hometown with heart. Thank you.